Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Let's Talk Moving Podcast and Moving Sales Professionals. I have Tom and Cristian with Continental Moving in Boston that just launched in April.
They won't take us, lead providers. They won't.
No, lead providers will. I'm talking about the consumers. There's not information to find about you. So you're
Mhm.
not going to get
Got
as
it.
many calls coming in. So until you build that profile, until you build social media. So I'm a big fan of social media. So part of the issue today is that the companies that have been in business for a very long time, they're not keen on making changes. Some of them are, and those companies do great. But a lot of the older companies, frankly, these are the companies that go back to the Yellow Pages era that took out a big ad in Yellow Pages, and that used to work for them because people used to look in Yellow Pages to find a mover. This was pre-Google or whatever, and then the social media wasn't used the same way that it's used today, right? So today, social media is huge because you can build a whole audience out of your future clients today, the people that are today 15, 17 years old, in 5, 10 years, they're going to be your future clients. So if you can come up with a social media contact that's going to attract their attention, you're going to have a client for life.
If you do like an Instagram Reels, for example,
Right.
or any YouTube content,
Mhm.
like obviously our page is new, we don't have like followers. Would you promote on those platforms? Would that be like the way to gain?
Yeah, I mean, what I would do, it's about having content that's interesting. If
Okay.
people are interested, if they, and you want something that's broad, like for me, of course, we're a B2B business. So I'm not trying to bring in somebody that's looking to use your service. I'm looking to talk to you guys. I'm not looking for somebody that's looking to use your service, right? But if you're approaching people that are using for service, so I use these two companies as an example all the time. They're two British companies. So one
Mhm.
company would be Warren's Removals in UK. So Warren has a reality TV type of show on YouTube that's it's
Yeah.
just interesting. It's about moving. It's very well made. It has good video. And if you check it out, it's something that somebody that's not looking to move could be interested in watching because it's reality TV, and that's what it looks like. And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more. The other company, it's called Pask's Removals. So Joshua Pask, if you guys follow football, soccer, Joshua Pask played for Coventry, a few other teams. He's a professional football player, professional soccer player in UK. So he also has a company that handles moving and all his social media. He does everything on Facebook. These guys go out,
Mhm.
they do a move, they put out reels, they put up shorts, they do all that type of stuff, and it's all about moving, right? So you can do this as a how-to videos. There's a lot of different options, right? You can choose,
Okay.
okay, how do you know that this is done correctly? How do you know how if this is packed correctly? How do you choose a mover that's going to how do you know if you're talking to the right company, if you're being underpriced, if you're being overpriced? It's something that's real, that's going to attract your customers. So you gotta sit down and think, okay, what is a person that's looking for a moving company that needs the moving service? What is it that's important to them? What are they looking for today? What's going to attract their attention?
So, and to wrap up the broker topic, so unless we have a special secret sauce how we get new customers, new company has to go to broker and get leads from them, and then slowly but surely getting rid of broker and get your organic, right?
If you want to do long distance, yes. I mean,
How,
even if you're a broker, you're not gonna get local moves for broker. People generally
how,
go to broker to get long distance jobs.
how about local jobs then?
That's something that you need to talk to them about. Some of them probably do have local jobs, but honestly, if you're local, You don't need, I don't think you need a broker to do local jobs.
So where we get leads for local jobs?
Lead providers.
Lead providers.
Lead providers,
Okay.
and do the old-fashioned footwork. Go to local area business events, right? Make friends with local community, local businesses. Talk to realtors, build relationships with them. Go to apartment communities, build relationships with those managers. Buy them lunch, something, draw their attention where they're gonna help you guys get your name out there. You
So
got to do the footwork. That stuff it's old school. Then that's part of it. If you're trying to do local stuff, and frankly, it's better than broker because broker you're sharing your profit.
and lead provider.
Yeah.
So you have your company, you probably ask where you guys hear about us. So you have this data.
Well,
So this,
lead providers, the data is going to come to your moving software, whichever one you're
yeah,
using.
yeah. What's the percentage of those Yelp and Thumbtack leads? Because they charge like up to 150 for local long dis or local moves,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's like profitable to use Thumbtack and Yelp because it's a lot of
Well,
stuff
I
there.
mean, I'll be honest, I don't have that much experience with Thumbtack, and Thumbtack you do get a lot of moves that you have people that are moving literally one piece of furniture. So that is the
Yes.
case.
Hi everyone, this is Jasdeep.
Hi, this is Herleen. We are the proud owners of the Calgary franchise of Let's Get Moving.
The main part of the business, which is sales, marketing, and advertising, he was gonna be the one controlling everything on the back end, and all we had to do was take care of the jobs that the sales team was booking for our location.
They'll give you a proper training. Then they have a nice franchisee team. You can call them, you can send them an email, or you can text them. They'll be there to help you.
You definitely need a really good team
Right.
in order for this business to succeed, and we were definitely blessed with amazing operation members, amazing movers, and pretty much even from day one, like we had an amazing team.
Visit letsgetmovingusa.com, changing the moving world one move at a time.
What I would say, Yelp. So I have a company that I work with in Virginia. They right now the only leads that are buying, besides putting some money into Google, and granted it's a company, they've been in business for almost 20 years. So they have good ratings, good reviews, all that fun stuff, right? But on Yelp alone, they have over 400 reviews. They do get and they have like 4.7 stars on Yelp. So they get a lot of traction with the leads that are coming in there. So you do get one piece moves once in a while, but you do still get plenty of those. So once again, that comes down to having the reputation, having the reviews. And guys, today I know you're new. Do not pay some Indian company to put fake reviews up for you, please, because you're gonna waste your money. Now, 10 years
Yes.
ago, 15 years ago, yes, you could have done that. It's not the
Oh,
most kosher thing to do, but it's something that you could have at least done, right? Today, that's not how Google works anymore. Google is going to verify those reviews, and if they find that if they find that they're fake, not only can they block you, you're going to lose the money that you spent on those reviews. So, and then you're going to have a hard time building that back up. So don't
Got it.
don't waste that money. You're going to get those calls, the people that are going to try to sell that service to you. Don't buy it. It's not something that works today.
honestly, with Yelp, even organic reviews, they just don't stick. We got like, that's why we're giving up on Yelp because around 10 people who came from Yelp, they used our service and they leave a review and they just get wiped off
But
because
are you buying leads from Yelp?
we not buying, no,
That's probably one of the reasons. Because frankly, no, honestly, that's probably one of the reasons. Because if you try to have a conversation with Yelp for them to explain to you why things are working or they're not working, they're going to have a very hard time explaining that stuff to you in general.
Yeah, because it's what they were like saying is that we're giving you like credit or whatever,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was not like a very conclusive. And like those users were legit. They just didn't have maybe enough presence on Yelp so that their comment would stick to our profile. So
Right. But
that was
they're always going to have a hard time explain. They can't even explain to you how their algorithm works. But I know people that have went from not being a paid Yelper to being a paid Yelper, And suddenly, although at least some of those reviews that were sitting there that were not popping up, suddenly they were on their profile magically once the money started exchanging hands. So,
Got it.
that's kind of you got to look around, and you got to maybe try it for a month, see if that's going to make a change to reviews that you already have or not. Nobody's going to give you something for nothing. Better Business Bureau, you want to be accredited, is going to cost you money.
Now, for let's say, like going back to like long distance, if we would do it, would we need like ELD or like tracking our driving time and all that, like a trucker or stop to every, wait station and all that?
If you're doing long distance, and this is different if you're using a rental truck, by the way. So there's a difference, right? But legally, the way that it works, first of all, the driver is supposed to be 10 hours on the road, 10 hours off the road. That's if there's one
Yes.
driver. Then you have logbooks that you have to do. You have electronic logbooks nowadays. It used to be just paper, but now you have electronic versions of this too. That part, that's not my specialty, so that's something you'd have to check with DOT and whatever regarding how that works.
Got it.
Some of these CRMs have that incorporation, so that's
Mhm.
something you can check in with them. Usually, the way that regular long distance is done, you have a delivery window. You don't have a guaranteed, unless you're doing express, which is you're saying, okay, we're picking up today. Let's say it takes, I don't know, 2 days to get to Florida. It's going to be there by whatever, Friday, let's say, for example, right? Unless you're doing something like that. But if you're not doing an express move, if you're doing a move with a carrier, there's a delivery window. Delivery windows are usually fairly standard. If it's East Coast, you're probably 1 to 10 business days. And keep in mind that delivery windows, they don't start from pickup. And that's something you have to be very clear on with these customers, because the customers will, a lot of them, unless you stress this out specifically, say this, a lot of them will say, it will make an assumption that the delivery window starts from the day that you pick it up. And that's not the case.
Okay.
You want to have the delivery window is there to, frankly, maybe you're having a hard time getting the shipment shipped, right? So that have an extra few days just in case may help you get that on the truck, right? Or maybe you end up just taking it yourself if you're in that position, right? If you're a new company, the best thing I think is, if you're gonna do long distance, I think the best thing is to cover areas where, worst case scenario, if you're in a pinch, you could potentially get in a truck and drive it yourself. So if you're an East Coast company, cover East Coast. Maybe go as far as Chicago or something like that. But like, don't go Midwest, don't go all the way to the West Coast. Not until you
Yeah.
really build up that network of drivers and company and carriers that you're working with that you can trust. Because that's the other big part, is you got to be able to trust the carriers that you're working with. You want to trust that they're not going to screw your customer. You want to trust that they're not going to screw you. So like all those things up, because at the end of the day, it's your reputation on the line when they're delivering that job to the customer, and they just drop it in the driveway and don't take it in and don't assemble what's supposed to be assembled. That's because you're not going to tell your potential client, oh, it's going to be a different company delivering it. You don't want to tell them that. I mean, in
So
reality, you want to tell them, oh, it's a sister company, we work with them all the time, or something like that, or
got it.
because otherwise, if you say something to the fact, oh, it's a different company, they're not gonna book with you. You just lost some credibility. And somebody else is gonna
Now,
tell them, oh, we work with them all the time. We know them.
as far as insurance is concerned, if someone books a move through us and we end up, having these sister companies working with it, who will be responsible if, God forbid, a damage
Well,
occurs to like,
once again, that's part of your relationship with the carrier, and them being able to trust you, you being able to trust them. That's why you go to a lot of these moving company events, is to build those relationships. That's why you use
Mhm.
these Facebook groups and what have you to, when you can, you meet the people. When you don't, you make sure you build that line of communication. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have to go through a couple that are not going to be very good. You
Yeah.
have to find, if you haven't gone through that, you've been lucky and you've found people that are trustworthy, that care about their relationship with you. But ultimately, if you get a good relationship, generally speaking, I mean, standard coverage for long distance move that most companies offer is the standard DOT mandated coverage, which is 60 cents per pound per article, right?
Yeah.
So that's your standard coverage. And the relationship that you have with your carrier is basically the same. If they break something, that goes the same line because you're gonna have to, whatever they give you, you're gonna have to give that to the customer. That's part of the relationship is that, if something is damaged on delivery, they take responsibility for that because they're gonna be there. So, but once again, that's all about relationships. Just you got to make sure you build them.
What about Zillow advertising? Have you heard anything from other companies? Are you doing it or?
So Zillow advertising. So there's a company called USA Home Listings. It's a most popular
Yes.
service in US. Basically, they're sending postcards. I love the service personally. I think it's great because when they send those cards out, if you make your card that's colorful, that's drawing attention, you're offering some discounts on that card that you're sending to these people. Yeah, I mean, and frankly, they're calling you, which is great. If they're calling you and they like you and everything else, they may not deal with anybody else. That's great.
Honestly,
That's almost as good as having organic advertising.
in our area, like as soon as house listed for sale in the mailbox, 20, 30 mailers they see, and I
Right.
seen them all, they're all colorful, they all provide discount and everything.
Well,
So
then there's always another option, which is footwork.
yeah, we've tried it. The
Knock
question
on the door and say, "Hey, I saw that I'm sorry to bother you. I saw that your house has gone on the market. We're a local moving company. Did you need the service? I'm here. I can take a look and I can provide you with an estimate.
yeah. And
If you have to do that, you have to do that.
yeah, I don't mind doing it. The question, USA Home Listings also provide digital mailers, digital campaigns. Have you heard about like a response on this?
I don't know those numbers because keep in mind I work directly for the moving companies. So if they're putting that advertising out, they're
Yeah, makes
keeping
sense.
those numbers to themselves. They're not sharing them with me. So I
Yeah.
just see how many calls are coming in, and I just see the results that are coming from me talking to these people and booking them.
But you ask people, customers, I mean, your sales
Yeah,
guys,
they
they
call
ask
in. I ask them where they found us. Absolutely, every time.
because I'm not the guy who listened all your podcasts, and you said you gotta step into rental market, high upscale rental. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking of to post advertisement in
Yeah,
Zillow
and USA
rental.
Pod listing does not do that, right? They
Yeah.
do houses.
But Zillow, you can post advertisements on Zillow and rentals, and you can set up a price range where you want it to be shown, like over
Hmm.
$4,000 a month. So, have you heard about clients came from
I really
Zillow?
haven't, but if you try it, let me know how it goes.
I see.
Because I would be
We
interested
might,
in that too.
yeah.
Because honestly, like I think if we could do the same type of thing with the high level rentals, I think it's the next big thing. Honestly, I'm surprised that Greg at USA Home Listing hasn't jumped at that yet. I would have thought that he would have done it as long as he's been doing the USA home listings because right, especially right now, the current market with the current economy, a lot of people that have the money to buy a house they're
They
choosing
don't, yeah.
they're choosing to rent because rent, they know what they're going to pay every month. They're not locking themselves into a 15 or 30-year mortgage, and they're not paying a higher percentage. Yeah, they may pay a little bit more monthly for that year that they're sitting in that house and waiting for things to change. But I think in the long run, it's probably going to be a good thing because right now, the interest rates, there's a rumor out there that they're going to be going down to 4.5, maybe 4.75 somewhere in that range, which is already about almost a percentage point of what it is today or so, right? It's not quite
Yeah.
what I have on my townhouse, but it's closer. The other part is, you're just waiting for the costs. Sooner or later, the costs for these houses that are on the market right now, they're going to drop because people are
Got
not going
it.
to buy them as much. People are going to have to drop because if they're going to sell, because right now, like the cost for houses, they're pretty ridiculous. They're not worth that. So it's similar to what we had in 2010 when the houses were up for sale for like 300, 400,000. In reality, they were worth 200 or 250. And then people found
Yeah.
themselves in a difficult position.
So now, like on one of your podcasts, you're also like saying that after a move is done, there are ways of drawing still like revenue from that potential customers. Like, what extent can we like do that, for example, in this scenario with like high-end rentals, or like how can we, or what would be like the follow-up
Well, if that's
conversation to
what,
like,
right, well, at the end of the day, you need to provide, first of all, start with the fact that you need to provide great service, and that customer needs to be very happy with what you did, right?
yes,
The next thing, get a video recording of them sharing their experience. You can put that on your website. You can put it on your social media, right? Get them to post a review. Google, Yelp, Better Business Bureau, anywhere else.
yeah.
You gotta build it. But then local, frankly, if you're trying to do long distance and you're a new company, the best thing to get those reviews up is local moves. Everybody wants to do long distance ultimately because that's where more money is. But frankly, I've had some local moves that were $3, $4, $5,000, $10,000. So, there's plenty of local business that's big enough to do that type of stuff too.
What about taxes? Do we need to pay any taxes, or is that some companies we've seen around that they were charging some kind of sales tax
Some
for
companies
moving
do. I mean,
industry?
honestly, it's I think it depends on what you want to charge and where you want your customer to be. I mean, you can call it tax, you can call it whatever. I mean, ultimately, a lot of companies give discounts for people that pay cash for their move, and we all know
Mhm.
why.
Yeah.
So, right, we all know why that happens. Because if you have more cash jobs, you're not going to show them on your taxes. So, let's be honest about that.
No, so like we don't need to have like any tax, right? Like any sale, like you go to the store, there's like a sales tax applied for like the product. Like for services,
Once
it's
again, the
not.
person is ultimately looking at what it is that they're spending on the move.